Kingussie High School's BBC News Report.
Today's stories include
Carlos Slim becomes the richest man in the world.
the news in brief includes Malawi, the recent newsletter of the school, the hut situation, and the arrangements for sport relief. Also, the food on film.
How Kingussie High School is becoming more of an eco-friendly school.
I'm Manny with the Gaelic side of things.
Aaron with the sport.
Karen with the weather today.
And to finish, their latest news on Cadbury's cream eggs.
Now, Carlos Slim becomes the world's richest man. He doesn't bother with private jets, he shuns flashy offices, and he made do most of the 1990s with a plastic watch. Mr. Slim has overtaken Bill Gates by $500 million to become the world's newest, richest man. His fortune rose by $18.5 billion last year to take it to a grand total of $53.5 billion. Now over to Edward with the news in brief.
Newton Moor Drama Club has raised around £1,400 for the Malawi project. They managed to raise the money by putting on a pantomime called Cinderella Rocks the Panto. The performances as a whole were a success. The money will be going to Malawi and funding Mary's meals. On the 5th and 6th of February, the third Food on Film Festival took place in school. KHS had its very own paparazzi to take brilliant pictures of the night. Guests that attended the event enjoyed a big chocolate fountain, sparkling wine, juice and some homemade snacks. It has been a year since inquiries were made about Kingussie High School's huts. Since then, little has been done to improve them. The huts are now damp and unstable. The heating systems were recently upgraded, as were the roofs. This week, Kingussie High School is holding different events to raise money for sports relief. The events include press-ups in 1 minute, hold plank for the longest time, spin pass challenge, shoot the hoops, most in 30 seconds, and keepy uppies, the most you can do. To enter, each is £1.
Here in Badenhof we've had one of the hardest winters in 50 years, and that's had a huge impact on our amount of fuel used to heat our school. Our old heating system has been running since the school first opened in 1970 and is no longer able to cope with extreme weather. To solve this problem, the school is installing a wood chip boiler. So, Mr. Ross, where did the boiler come from?
Well, Emma, the boiler is manufactured by a specialised company who are in Sweden, a very cold country as we know, and they manufacture these eco-friendly boilers for homes and businesses and for schools. So it's constructed in their factory in Sweden, shipped across to us and then put on site just down there. So therefore we have it in place, and we hope that for next winter our fuel bills will be reduced and our heating system will be much more environmentally friendly, and we'll all be cosy and warm if we get another really bad winter. Okay.
Thank you.
Tapleif Emma. Scrutiger bij aan in BBC Alpen. Ganele een Freeview. En BBC Gin Vrouwtig zijn fijne maag. COVID ter BBC Alpen Freeview. Ha BBC Alpen Freesat Sky. Ganele BBC gekeurde Freeview. Lees een channel in BBC Ele. Hamietjes menig ik een vaardigheid gekeurde Freeview. Zo zullen de dingen nog heel giri en nog heel erg jaar zijn Freesat Sky gaat er. En is haar is Aaron lees een spaars.
Thanks, Manuel. Earlier today, the film crew and I went down to the Kingussie Shinty pitch, the Dell, where I met Donnie Grant, a former player, manager, president and secretary. Unfortunately, it was so windy that our voices could not be heard. I asked him why exactly our Kingussie Shinty team trying to buy the Dell, and he answered the Dell is to make sure that it cannot be covered over with houses or businesses. Then I asked him what is he planning to do with the spare land around the pitch, and he said that it would be used for another training ground and for extra parking. Now over to Mr. Dillon to tell us a little bit about the problem we're having with sport at the moment.
Well, Aaron, the problem with sport just now is that the weather we've had over this winter has been the worst we've had in many years. So the pitches have been frozen and there's been snow for them all the time. So things like football and shinty and rugby, we've not been able to have any games since December. So that's caused problems with the football leagues etc. just now, because we're way behind on that. The rugby team haven't had games for a considerable amount of time, and on top of that we haven't been able to train either, so we've been forced to train inside, which as you can imagine is not ideal. However, on the plus side, okay, there's lots of snow, so things like skiing and snowboarding is coming to the forefront just now. and we have the ski team away at the Scottish Schools races today, so hopefully they're going to do well. And next week we also have ski teams away at the Highland School ski races. So where one sport is struggling, another sport is flourishing just now. So fingers crossed, the snow down here is going to melt and we're going to get back on our pitches very soon. We have a game next week with the rugby up in Inverness, so fingers crossed that'll be on. But fingers crossed the snow up in the hill stays, so skiing and boarding etc. can carry on till April and May. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
No problem, Anna. Thank you.
Here we are with two of the school skiers, Callum Mervyn and Scott Dixon. Maybe they could tell us a little bit about their trip in Germany.
Recently, me and Callum went on a trip to Germany, and we were skiing against the British Army again to get hopefully some recognition for the club, CBNSC. And the aim of our trip was to do as well as we can against 150 odd soldiers, and then hopefully get some sponsorship for the club.
It was the British Championships, and we did quite well. We got first under 16s and Scott got second in cross-country skiing, and then in biathlon Scott got second under 21 skier and I got third.
So yeah, it was a good successful trip, and hopefully we're going to get some sponsorship from some big companies.
And so that's us bit of the weather.
Here in Canusie there's been a lot of snow over the past couple of weeks, which has been gradually disappearing. Right now the temperature is a cold 6 degrees and it is very windy. Now over to Richard with the rest of the weather.
Thank you, Karen. And now with the weather across Scotland. Thursday 6 AM in Canusie and Aberdeen there will be sunny intervals, and in places like Edinburgh and Wick you'll see grey clouds. 6 PM that night Canusie will have drizzle, Wick will have some light rain showers, and Edinburgh and Aberdeen again will be the same with cloudy. Friday 6 o'clock in the morning Canusie will have cloudy intervals, and all across Scotland and other places they will have grey clouds, as in Wick, Edinburgh and Aberdeen. At 6 o'clock that night there will be partly cloudy everywhere.
I am here in Canusie High School's Home Economics Department, one of the school's home economic teachers, Ms McDonald. I have come here to ask her about a recent story told by scientists. The story claims that if you put melted cream egg on top of Weetabix in the morning, then it improves your brain power. So, Ms McDonald, do you think that the story's true or even makes sense?
Well, Amy, you could say that it improves your brain power, but to me it just doesn't seem to make sense.
Do you think it would be worth putting little cream eggs in Weetabix boxes to eat in the morning?
Well, I think it's up to everyone individually what they eat for their breakfast. But to me, personally, as a home economics teacher, I really don't think it sounds too healthy.
Well, let's try it. Well, I think it's quite nice. E equals MC squared. Back to Lauren and Caitlin in the studio.
Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.